Bill Armstrong, general manager of the Arizona Coyotes. On my far side, general manager of the Tucson Roadrunners, John Ferguson, and the head coach of the Tucson Roadrunners, Steve Potvin, who we're here to introduce today as Roadrunners head coach. Steve is a true Arizona hockey dad. He's been here in the Grand Canyon State for almost 15 years after retiring as a player, staying here, coaching kids at the Ice Den, coaching his kids, coaching future Coyotes, coaching Coyotes. He's been with us here with the Roadrunners since 2017, 2018. So starting his 6th season here with us. So a familiar face in Tucson for hockey with the Roadrunners, a familiar face who's developed a lot of talent, hockey players here in the state of Arizona. And we're excited to have Steve back with us here in Southern Arizona. So I'll turn things over to Arizona Coyotes general manager, Bill Armstrong, and we'll have some more excitement to share.
Well, thank you. This is it's a big hire for us. We're at a crucial time in the organization's development of young players. We have probably in the last 2 years led the league in the amount of picks, draft picks that we've had. We've got some tremendous young talent coming through the door. We wanted to make sure that we had a good coach, a coach that would help develop them, see the best in them, and push them. And I believe from watching Steve do his work for an interim coach here before, he did an outstanding job. And the feedback from our players was incredible about the fact that how much they like to play for him. They enjoyed being pushed by him, how fair he was, and how he got the best out of them. And that was very important in part of this process of hiring, is to make sure that we had the right guy. And when we finally came to the conclusion, which didn't take us very long, we pulled the trigger and hired Steve, and he's going to be a big piece of this organization moving forward and helping us take the next step to developing players, to helping us win a cup.
All right. Like this. Thank you, Bill and Adrian. Our commitment here is to develop Arizona Coyotes in a competitively successful environment. We've done that for a number of years here in this organization. I've joined about a year now. Couldn't be more pleased with Steve Potvin's progress as a head coach. He's a proven player developer, a proven winner at this level. His experience as a coach and as a player, not just in North America, but in Europe, put him in a great spot. I've seen him work day in and day out for a year straight. He attacks every day, prepares every day, knows when to push, knows when to support, knows when to take a step back at times. And couldn't be happier to have him being named as the next Tucson Roadrunners head coach. He's done it before. Now he gets to take the full reins and move forward. So welcome again as our head coach.
Thank you, gentlemen. First, I'd really like to take the opportunity to thank the Morello family. Their strength and their commitment to Arizona hockey and the growth of it is tremendous, and we appreciate it. Not only from the Tempe side, but obviously here in Tucson. And so we look forward to continued success and continued growth here. I appreciate the kind words and the kind introduction here this evening or this afternoon. The thing that I appreciate the most is that Bill and John really have the foresight for growth and what it takes to win. And they've been able to really put together a strong staff, not only from a coach's perspective in the NHL, but our development staff, all the way down through the ranks of the American Hockey League, is second to none. And so we appreciate that immensely at the American Hockey League level. And we're going to create a standard that is going to get us from good to great. And that's what we're here to do. And we're looking forward to every challenge. And we've got a great staff in place to meet all of those challenges.
All right, we can open it up for questions. Just raise your hand, and Eric will get you over our wireless mic if you'd like to ask a question to either Bill, Steve, or John.
So for Bill and John, what's the hiring process like when you have a candidate like Steve that kind of fits really well, already?
Say that again, sir.
What's the hiring process like when you have a candidate like Steve?
Well, it wasn't that hard in the fact that we had seen his work before here as head coach. I mean, that was when you get feedback from all the players and the agents after that year was over was outstanding, and the players had such high regard for Steve and what he had accomplished, and that's the type of environment that we were looking for, is where players are going to come through the door and they're going to want to play for the coach. You have to remember, when the players come in here, some of the high draft picks, they're dealing with money for the first time in their life. They're learning to eat on their own. They're learning with all these things, and to have a coach that has their back and pushes them in a way that they can still, have that nice relationship with the coach. It's really important for us in our environment to get the most out of the player. And for us, the hiring process, when we knew he brought that, and along with getting to work with him, like John said, every day, there wasn't anybody else on our board when we looked at what we had and what we wanted.
Let's go back to Jason. We'll get you the wireless, Jason.
Okay, for the casual hockey fan who may not know, Mr. Armstrong, he was coach before, and then he was associate head coach, and now he's back to head coach.
Yep.
What was the strategy there? Was it something where he didn't do a great job and had to step down, or maybe he was hired before you thought that you were going to put him in that position?
It's a great question.
Explain that situation.
We had this strategy where we wanted to use Jay Verity up top in that particular year, and Jay said, listen, Steve can do the job down below, and he'll get a chance to be a head coach at that point in time, and we liked that strategy as we move forward through COVID and having extra coaches, because we had extra players up top. But when that ended, we asked Jay to, Jay wanted to go back down in the American League, and we agreed that'd be a good fit. So we just asked Steve to kind of like, listen, you're going to be a better coach by being a head coach, stepping back and kind of taking a look at it and growing a little bit and watching Jay again. You're going to get another opportunity. And that's how this kind of came about. And, for us, it wasn't, Jay was going to return to coach, and we just asked him to take a step back and kind of grow a little bit. And he did. And to his credit, he's going to come through the door here and be a better head coach than he was before.
Thanks, Dave. And what does that say about him that he did that? Because some people wouldn't be too thrilled with that.
Well, I remember that too. I think that's a part of being loyal to your organization and having the faith in the people that you're working for, that they have the best interest for you. I think that has a lot to do with why, he was the first one and the only candidate, because he did that for the organization. Yep.
Steve, Damian Alameda from KOLD CBS. So what do you remember about that interim season as head coach?
Well, I remember that there was a lot of moving pieces. At the time, you weren't allowed that many staff members at the arenas, so we were outnumbered significantly. I think we had 5 lines and 8 D to manage between the 3 of us. So there was a lot of moving parts, and the day-to-day structure wasn't really what the norm is at our level. Usually the players are able to interact with skills coaches and, a plethora of coaches and people that they can lean on. And unfortunately, we just really weren't able to get that connection with the players and the staff. And I think that was the thing that was lacking the most. And honestly, that's what I'm looking forward to now, is the opportunity to be able to work with the development staff and our players far closer than we had in the past.
So between then and now, how would you define your own growth?
Sorry, I didn't hear your question.
Between then and now, how would you define your own growth?
My own growth. Yeah, it's just as Bill alluded, the opportunity for me to step in and be the head coach and understand what it's like to be in the big chair, so to speak, was really good for me to see, to experience and feel. And then the opportunity to step back and actually see, maybe how another coach is doing it, maybe see what works for you, what works for him, how you would alter things. I think it was a major growth period for me. And, now it just, I think, makes you a little bit more prepared, and you're a lot more confident with what your approach is going to be from day to day.
What is ultimately your philosophy on player development then?
That's a good question. My philosophy really is, I think everybody needs a mentor. Everybody needs a coach. And so for development, I think for us, it's literally seeking the truth. Seeking the truth to seeing what the players are actually really good at, and sometimes trying to find what their weaknesses are requires you to dig down and actually seek the truth. And when you're seeking the truth, I think you'll find the answers a lot easier, and then I think you'll be able to get with the approach and through the process a lot better.
How do you get to that truth?
Well, I think it takes a lot of, commitment to the player and building relationships. And, you got to really understand what's unique about each individual's personality, and then start to dig in. You create that trust with the player, and then next thing you know, you're talking truths. And, it fits and bodes well for them. And it fits and bodes well for us as well.
Bill, while you're here, Tucson's the minor league team of the Coyotes, where you're the GM. What's your assessment of what the city and the facility brings here, to the organization? And then I've got one more just about you guys playing at such a small arena in the upcoming season.
Yeah, it's a great place to play. If you're a prospect coming through and you're playing in the American League, I don't think there's a better place to play. You've got great weather, you got good travel, you got good coaches, you got a good setup at the rink. We try and do everything down here, from the hotels to the food for the young players to the skills coaches, first class. And that comes back a lot of times when we sit down with the player and the agent, and they're leaving after the year, and we ask them, what do you think? And it always comes back that players love Tucson. You can't beat this place. I think if you're a Canadian and you're used to playing in Winnipeg, nothing against Winnipeg, but this is a pretty nice place to play in the winter. Yeah. Yeah, it's exciting. We've embraced it from the side of, where can you go in the NHL and be a 5,000 seat arena and see two NHL teams slug it out? It's very intimate. It's something that's different than every other NHL team. So gets to experience. So we've really embraced it. I think there's a curiosity from fans around the league that are like, what's it going to be like? So, ticket sales have been very good. Our move to Tempe, I think our fans are really excited about having that drive where they can get in and out real quick and get to the weekday games and not be a 45-minute up and back for them. So it's, I think the Coyote fan that lives in that area is extremely excited. I think fans from the rest of the NHL are pretty curious. And I think for our players and our team and the way that we play an aggressive brand of in-your-face hockey. It's going to be exciting for a fan to come in there and see that type of hockey up close.
Steve, you take a look at what could potentially be just an embarrassment of riches that could be flooding through the doors here, and your initial thoughts are what?
Sorry, I didn't hear the last part of that.
Your initial thoughts on just the embarrassment of riches that could potentially be coming through Tucson here?
Yeah, that's the exciting part. I mean, honestly, to be able to step in here at the ground floor and really try to grow with the organization and make sure that these guys understand what the expectations are and what the standards are from day to day. That's what's exciting about being a coach. Seeing and being with them and helping them along their way to really achieve their goal and the organization's goal. I don't think there could be a better position for a coach. It's exciting.
Yeah, we'll get you the mic, James. James Kelly, Arizona Daily Star.
So for Coach, what's it been like living in Arizona for this last 12, 13 years?
It's been great. Honestly, we considered it home probably 2 months into it. We looked up at the blue skies and understood pretty clearly that this was going to be home for the next 15 years. It's been great for my family. They've enjoyed it, and honestly, we haven't looked back. It's been a wonderful place for our kids to grow, and I appreciate the weather. I appreciate the people of Arizona. It's been a great place for us to live.